G'day, in this video I'll teach you how to place the brass onto your ceremonial belt and also how to place your Ds onto your poly trousers. G'day, in this video I'll just talk about how we place the brass onto the ceremonial belt and also the best way of actually achieving the brass touching brass. So the brass keeper needs to touch the brass buckle. That's probably the most common fault that I see. It happens all the time. I don't know why it's such a simple method to place them on there and to achieve that. Well, as you can see, we've already placed the female buckle on, so I'll go ahead and place the male buckle on. So the keeper, whichever side that you want to be on the outside, whichever side that you've shined up. So just slide that onto the belt, take it all the way down, and then the male buckle, so we slide that on so it has to face on this side like so. So that's the way that we place it on. Alright, so we've placed that on. So what we do now is we now need to slide the keeper over the two parts of the belt and slide it all the way up to the end there. So again, you can see that we're using just our fingers there. So what that'll do is I always put marks or fingerprints onto the brass. So after we've finished messing around with it, we need to actually wipe it down with our off cloth. And you can see, so both of those items of brass, let me just zoom in here. So the brass keeper is touching the brass buckle, the brass keeper is touching the brass buckle. That's the way it needs to be worn. So how do you achieve that? Okay, the first method is placing the belt into a door jamb and leaving it in there for an extended period of time. The other one is leaving the brass keepers on the belt when not in use. That'll push down on it. The third one, if you've got a vise, leave your belt in a vise for an extended period of time. Really work on it. There's other things you can do, and I'll show you some methods now. Right, some other methods you can use to achieve the brass touching brass, or the brass keeper touching the buckle. Because it is brass and it is malleable, okay, you can really push down on the brass when you place it onto your belt, or even before you place it onto your belt, so it compresses on. Once you do that, make sure you wipe off any of your fingerprints. The other way is by using the 20-cent piece. You can slide it underneath the buckle itself, and that'll push up onto the buckle itself as well. And two will actually fit in there, so you can slide another one here as well, and that'll achieve placing some pressure on it as well. So go through those methods. Make sure you find one that works for you. There's some things that you can do to use it. So go through the pushing down of the brass first, and if that fails for whatever reason, just use your 20-cent piece and then just place them on there like so. The other one will fit nicely in here. Okay, another thing I need to make you aware of is from time to time you get some lazy people who decide, oh, it's too much trouble taking the brass off to polish it, I'll just polish it on the brass. And they go ahead and do that. So what happens, looks like a really good technique to begin with. What invariably happens is that the polish will move from the keeper, or the buckle for that matter, and settle onto the belt itself. Now you seem to get away with it at the moment where it's not that noticeable, but once that dries, and I'll leave it on there and bring it back and show you, once that dries, it'll dry green, mouldy, and it'll become very, very noticeable, and there's no way you'll get away with it. So take your brass off to polish it, it's not that hard, then place it back on there. Best way to avoid it is don't do it. Right, so we're going to place our D onto our poly trousers, so it'll sit in there like so. So how we do that is we turn it upside down, Place it in through the pocket there, loop it in and push it up. Okay, once you do that, you touch it with your hand, so you need to give that a polish to get all your fingerprints off, or alternatively place it on there using old mate's sock. So we've placed our hook onto the front of our poly trousers. It's quite good condition and it's really well presented. If you had, for example, one that had a slight scratch and you noticed it when you were polishing up, you didn't have time to rectify it, obviously place it into the rear where it's less noticeable, and you may get away with that on a dress inspection. The best way is to have good brass.